Good morning. Welcome to today's webinar event. My name is Joshua. I'm going to be your presenter today. It is promptly 11:30 Eastern Time here. We're going to go ahead and get started. We're here to talk about accounting and payroll and paying payroll taxes. Today's webinar topic is actually a document which is on our website. It's also attached as a handout on this particular event. So if you go to the handouts link here under your webinar control panel, you will find the PDF document attached here, or again, you can go to our website into the support center and find that there. We'll be here till 11:50 at the latest here, or at the longest. Wherever we are, we'll wrap it up, and then we'll certainly stick around and answer any questions that you have. If you have questions, please type those into the questions portion of the control panel or webinar control panel for me. I'll do my best to keep an eye on those, and we'll see what we can do to get those questions answered for you. If I don't get to them during the event, I will certainly be happy to get to those, like I said, after I get done with the topic at hand. Please keep the questions on topic, meaning about payroll, paying our payroll taxes. You know, there may be another webinar event that's more suited for the questions that you have or the topic that you have questions about. Or, of course, we're here till 6 p.m. Eastern Time today. Our technicians are always available and happy to help during our support hours, 800-533-5227, okay? We are recording today's webinar event. The video of it will be out on our website here between now and probably even the end of the day today, maybe tomorrow at the very latest, and you can revisit this if you wish. Okay, so let's dive in. It's literally a one-page document, folks. There's nothing terribly complicated about this. We just want to offer some clarity about it because it's a very common support call for new Church Windows accounting and payroll users is, how do I pay my payroll taxes? And so we're going to go through that in detail here, okay? So as we look at the document, it talks about step one there, talks about in accounting, verify correct vendor payee information has been entered for check printing. So what we're going to do is we're going to now go into Church Windows and into accounting. So the assumption is you have these accounts already set up in your chart of accounts. If not, you have to make sure that they're added. And so in this case, when we go into our chart of accounts screen, we clearly see here, let me get out my highlighter. So right here, we clearly see under our liability accounts, we've got a 941 taxes payable. We've got our state taxes payable, county, city, county, any other payroll deductions for, you know, pension contributions and payments and health insurance and flex spending, et cetera, et cetera. But in this case, we're here to talk about payroll taxes, and we're going to talk about federal and state today specifically. But it's all typically done and dealt with in exactly the same manner. So when we click on our 210-100 account for our 941 taxes payable, what this is talking about is here under our, once we've highlighted that account, we're going to go to our tab here to the right-hand side called vendor/payee right here, okay? And then when we click on that, we're going to now see Internal Revenue Service, okay? That's our payee. I can enter, you know, address information here if I wish, or more commonly these days anymore, it wouldn't be that the payee is the IRS per se, but maybe EFTPS, okay? So if that's who our payments are made payable to, we probably want to change that there. So this would be a good example of that, okay? If we click now under, there's nothing to save here. Once I click on state and I go to the vendor payee tab, you know, we might want to go in here and again, state of Ohio, maybe it's going to be Ohio State Treasurer or Department of Revenue. And again, nothing to save or change or save, it saves it automatically, okay? You just want to make sure that that vendor payee information is correct for your reports, and if at all possible matches with, you know, whomever, you know, if your checks are made payable to that, you know, anymore, the IRS, really everything is paid to the, you know, to the federal government online, but in this case, maybe we do need to send a check for our taxes here to the state of Ohio. Department of Revenue, okay? In either case, the payment and vendor information should be correct for our payments either way, okay? So step one of this is now taken care of. We've verified that those accounts exist. The vendor payee information is correct for our payments, okay? Step two talks about in the payroll under system administration and account number setup. So we're going to minimize accounting, and we're going to now go into our payroll module, and we're going to click here under system administration, and we're going to go to account number setup, and right here under our withheld tax liabilities, and you'll need to check this for everybody right here, withheld tax liabilities, that we have the appropriate accounts set up for both federal and state where applicable. If your state doesn't have any state taxes, then you don't need to worry about this, but if you do, as we do here in Ohio, you need to make sure that the appropriate accounts are selected and assigned, okay? So right here, we click the down arrow, we have 941 taxes payable. Here's our state taxes. Whoops. Yep, state taxes payable is assigned. If you want to make this really simple on yourself, you would go down here to your set defaults. We would set our checking account and our federal and state tax withheld liabilities. Click OK. Then you can simply go through each employee's record and click the apply defaults, and then just go to the next employee and do the same thing, and it'll set those same three accounts for each of your employees without having to select them independently, okay? Finally, if you have local taxes, okay, we would need to go to the local tax tab here and make sure that each one of the employees are linked to the appropriate liabilities withheld tax account here down the right-hand side, okay? Again, if you don't have local taxes, then don't worry about it. Again, only applicable for those folks where local taxes are owed and subsequently withheld, okay? But it's all set up in the same exact manner. So the system knows these are the accounts that we're sending these taxes for these respective taxing authorities into in accounting each and every time. We're not having to select it and therefore increasing our risk of making a mistake by selecting the wrong account, okay? So then the system knows those are the accounts that the monies are going into each time, okay? Then we would click apply and then okay. All right. So the third step here is to determine what our actual tax liability is for whatever it is, whether it's the 941 federal taxes or your state taxes or local. You have to determine how much you have to let the system tell you how much money you actually owe based on that particular tax period. So, you know, while your 941, your deposit schedule is going to be either, you know, semi-weekly, monthly, or quarterly. If you're unsure about what that is, then you need to contact the IRS, provide them with your tax ID, and they'll tell you what your tax deposit schedule is. If you don't know, again, it's not something you want to speculate about. You need to contact them and find out, okay? Most churches are monthly, but some are semi-weekly, and some are quarterly in terms of when those deposits are due, need to be made. It's not when the form is for or what the form is, filed. Everyone files the form quarterly. When do you actually have to physically deposit the taxes with EFTPS or with your state or local, okay? So to do that, once you've determined what those deposit schedules are, like in the state of Ohio, I believe state taxes are due quarterly, but the federal, our church deposits are required for federal government monthly. So we're going to start by going to reports, pay period deductions report. We're going to leave it as all employees. We're going to go to next, and we're going to try to find out, we need to find out what our third month or our third month of the first quarter is, okay? So we're going to do March 1st because our deposit schedule is monthly through March 31st. If yours is quarterly, you would do it for the whole quarter. If yours is semi-weekly, we would do the first, through the 15th or the 16th through the final day of the month, however that works. Click Next. In either case, you have to enter the date range to support your deposit schedule. And now when we scroll down here, if I zoom in a little bit here, we'll clearly see, let me zoom out a little bit more and scroll down. We clearly see here, let me get my highlighter, right here, 941 deposit, okay, of $1,052.38. That was our tax liability for the month of March, okay? So I would now need to go over to accounting, and I'm going to post that payment for that amount, okay? I would use this same report for my state deposit as well. So right here we see a column called state. Now again, if my state taxes are due every quarter, then I'm going to go back here and I'm going to change my date range here to the first quarter of January 1 through March 31st and click next. Okay, and then when I go down now to the bottom of my state column, I clearly see here that my taxes due for the first quarter of 2019 are $565. Okay, so again, I'm using the same report to determine how much I owe to either the state or to the federal government. Okay, so once and again, use the payroll system to tell you what that is. Don't use the account balance in accounting. Yes, they should match. Okay, so now once we've let those reports in payroll tell us what we actually physically owe, we're now going to go into accounting and we're going to go into our pay bills. Let me go through that again. So we go to pay bills. Okay, no need to enter a bill here, folks, because payroll is taking care of these because the payroll is taking care of debiting those various tax liabilities for us. And so there's no need to enter a bill. The balance is waiting. So we go to Quick Pay, we go to View Vendors with a balance, and clearly we see right here, let me get my highlighter, 941 taxes payable. Look at that. Our balance is 1052.38. Our state taxes payable is 565, which again is exactly what we owe. Okay. This payroll module, folks, has a really nice built-in checks and balances in it. Okay. You know, again, in a perfect world, when we're letting payroll be our guide for what we owe, the balance in these accounts should be exactly what we owe. The only time it might be different is if we have a remaining balance, if we've got overlapping tax periods. So what I mean is if I'm paying my March payment now in April and it's after my first pay in April has been posted, okay, and posted and transferred into accounting, that would be probably the only time that these account balances would be different than what I owe, okay? So, but in this case, I haven't posted my April pays yet. I'm ready to post my March tax payments. Sure, I can use an April date if I want to clear those account balances out, but all I do is put a check mark in the select box next to both of those, and I click Create Payments, okay? And I put, you know, I'm going to backdate this date occurred, and we'll say that they were made on Friday the 12th of April. And, you know, I check my date occurred, I check my account, then right here I put in 1052.38, and I choose EFT for, you know, EFTPS since I'm paying that online, and here for the state of Ohio I'm going to type in 565, and they still do require a check, so I can make separate different payment methods for the two payments, of course. And I'm a big fan, folks, of using the show running balance here. So when I click on that, it brings up my show running balance window, and my adjusted balance for both my 941 taxes and state taxes payable is 0. That's exactly what I want. Okay. And then I simply click post or post and print checks if I'm ready to print the check for the state to send that and send that in. Okay. So everything is good. I now do post or post and print checks. It asks me, do I want to print my my report? I'm going to say no to that. And then now it should open up my print checks window with me ready to print my check to send to the state for my state taxes. Okay. So again, the thing to take away from this is that you do not need to enter a bill. Okay. You simply skip over the enter bills process and go directly to pay bills, and then we go to quick pay and view vendors with a balance, and those balances for those tax liabilities should be sitting here waiting for you to pay. Don't overthink it. It's really easy for us to want to make this in our thinking more complicated than it actually is, okay? So all you have to do is skip over enter bills, go to pay bills, make sure that the account balance has at least the amount that you owe. And again, as I stated before, even if the account balance is less than what you owe, pay it. Pay what it says you owe. You can investigate why the account balance is something different after the fact. But what you don't want to do is underpay, okay? Because then you're going to be, late, or you might be assessed, fees later on or something, or late fees, for particularly the IRS or the state. So again, if the account balance is less, just edit the amount to pay to what payroll says you owe. You can resolve the issue as to the account balance differently or later, okay? And then just create your payments and post and pay them. It's that simple, okay? All right, so that is our topic for the day.